And we'll call to order the Greenwood Board of Zoning Appeals for April 12th of 2021, which I just noticed for the ballot, it has a 2020 date on it. So I would advise everyone before you turn them in to make that change and initial it, please. Or if there's any other direction, Sergey, other than that, please let us know.
That will be sufficient.
Okay. And then I need, okay. I will take a motion for approval of minutes from the March 22nd meeting. That's the first item on the agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have was that Mr. Smith and then Mr. Polar?
I think so, yes.
Yes, okay.
I believe it was Mr. Foster and Mr. Polar.
It is me.
Okay, Mr. Foster, then Mr. Polar. Mr. Polar?
Yes.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And I am a yes, motion carries 4-0. Ed, any special requests or continuances?
None.
Okay. No old business. Any old business from the floor? Seeing none, we will move on to new business, which is docket BZA 2021-006. This is for Sam's East at Emerson Avenue. Joyce Landwehr. I hope I didn't butcher that too much, Joyce. Did I see
No,
you?
that's actually perfectly correct. Most people don't get it right.
Excellent. All right, so I see you're on. Will anyone else be speaking for this with you?
I have myself and Patrick Burke on behalf of the architect, and then we also have Tammy Westfall and Teresa Smith here with Sam's.
Okay. And is there anyone out here that is wishing to speak against this docket tonight? Okay, seeing none, Joyce, we'll go ahead and get you sworn in, and then we'll do Mr. Burke, and then the other two from Sam's as well, Ms. Smith and Ms. Westfall. All right, so Joyce, we'll start with you.
I guess I'll swear in. Please raise your right hand.
I'll turn on my video.
Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
I think I also need your address too.
I'll get that. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Stevie, you're good. So that was Joyce, and then Mr. Burke. Can you also do the same?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
And then let's go to Ms. Smith.
Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
And then finally, Ms. Westfall.
Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
So apologize for that, but Zoom makes it really difficult to try to do everybody at once. So it's the easiest way for us to make sure we can see everyone. So thank you for bearing with us for that. So let's start, Ms. Landwehr, with you. And if, as Stevie had mentioned, if you could please give us your address for the record.
I'm assuming you want my company address, or?
That is correct.
Okay, 8131 Metcalf Avenue, Suite 300, Overland Park, Kansas.
Okay, now tell us why you're here.
Representing on behalf of Sam's and the architect for the sign variance on the Sam's Club fuel station.
Okay. And specifically, you have two variance requests, right?
Correct.
One for the ordinance requiring canopy signs not to exceed 18 square feet, and one for the ordinance requiring a maximum of 2 canopy signs per gas station.
Correct.
Okay, and you're looking to exceed the 18 square feet by just over 1 square foot to 19, and exceed the 2 canopy signs to 4 canopy signs.
Correct.
Do you have your variance or your statutory criteria responses in front of you that you provided?
Yes, let me get them. in
So
front
we
of
need
me.
to read through those and get them into the record so I can get you started. And if you would just read your response, or if you have anything to add to them, you can do that as well. But so for the gas station area, so we'll do them separately here. This one we'll start with the size of the canopy.
Mhm.
Number one, the approval will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because.
I'm getting to that page. So
Yeah, no
sorry.
problem.
Mhm.
I think it's page 2 of the staff
Yeah.
report, if you have that.
Let's see. Are we doing you said the square footage one first, correct?
Yes, the square footage one first, yes.
Okay. The request is for a small increase in the sign area for the Sam's Club logo and digital price readers. The size and content of the signage will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Okay, number 2, the use and area value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because.
The high quality of the signage materials and overall sign appearance will not impact the use value of the area adjacent to the property. The size of signage proposed is aesthetically appropriate for the size of the fuel canopy fascia.
Number 3, the strict application of the terms of zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because.
The proposed sign area is appropriate for the visibility and readability required to guide or direct customers to the site.
And number 4, the structure is not regulated under Indiana Code 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation. All right, let's go ahead and now do the same for the second request, which is the number of signs. Number 1, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because.
The request to increase the number of signs from 2 to 4 will help customers to identify and locate the SAM station from all 4 sides of the property. The number of signs and content of the signage will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Number 2, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because.
The high quality of the signage materials and overall sign appearance will not impact the use and value of the area adjacent to the property. Number of signs requested would locate signage on all 4 sides of the fuel canopy.
Number 3, the strict application of the terms of zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because.
The proposed number of signs, which is 4, is appropriate for the visibility required to guide or direct customers to the site. Each side of the fuel canopy would include a sign and provide the customer with the fuel cost.
And again, number 4, the structure is not regulated under Indiana Code 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation.
Correct.
Anything else you can tell the board about the reason for these, the size increase and the number of signs? I think it's fairly straightforward, but give you a chance here before we ask your counterparts for their input.
I mean, I think that it's pretty self-explanatory. The size and the number is prototypical for what they have on their fuel stations. And so we're just, asking for their prototypical sign package for these fuel stations on square footage and number.
And you have seen in the staff report the recommendation that the canopy signs substantially comply with the elevation and signage drawings submitted with the petition, right? And you have no issue with
Correct.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If nothing else, then Mr. Burke, anything you would like to add?
I do not. Joyce explained it pretty well.
Okay. Ms. Smith and Ms. Westfall, anything from you?
No, thank you. I think
Okay.
that
And
she did fine. Thank you.
okay, then I will close the public hearing portion of this and turn it over to the board. Mr. Smith, any questions from you?
No questions from me. Seems pretty straightforward.
Mr. Poehler?
No questions.
Mr. Foster?
No questions.
I have no questions either. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So, okay, with that, then Ed and Sergey, are all the notices in order?
Yes, we have the notices, copies, and the receipts are all in the file and in order.
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay, then I will take a motion to accept them into the record.
Is this the evidence into record?
Correct.
All right. I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter.
Oh, wait, sorry, Mr. Puller. I think I made a mistake there. It's the one about the receipts and
Oh, okay.
notices and testimony.
Okay, so moved.
Do you have that one, or is anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we admit all evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the zoning ordinance, comprehensive plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning stance, any remonstrators, and all exhibits presented, be they written or oral, for consideration by this board in regard to the petition, and to include the testimony of those present this evening.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Motion by Mr. Foster, second by Mr. Puller. Mr. Puller,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and I am a yes. That motion carries 4-0. I'll take a motion on request number 1 for approval or denial.
Move that we approve request number 1.
Second.
With Mr. Puller, just to clarify, with the condition that it substantially, how did it, how, as it was worded in the staff report, that it
Correct.
substantially complies with the elevation and signage drawings submitted with the petition.
Correct.
Okay. And the second was by Mr. Smith.
Correct.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Puller to approve with the condition, and second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Puller,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and I am a yes. That motion carries 4-0. I will take a motion for request number 2.
I move that we approve request variance number 2 with the staff recommendation or staff commitment attachment C, elevation and sign drawings.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Puller, second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Puller,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and I am a yes. So that motion also carries 4-0. And I have a question. I just noticed the date is wrong on mine because I actually have ballot for V 2020-006. Did we get one for, did I print out the wrong thing? No, it's the file is dated 2021-06, but I think we pulled the ballot. Did anybody else have an incorrect ballot, or is it just?
I have 2020-062, and it doesn't appear to comport with what's actually being requested, sir.
Yeah, so Stevie, if you could, or someone, please get us the correct ballot after the meeting tonight. We will get them filled out and signed. Okay.
Okay.
I will take a motion to draft written findings of fact.
Mr. Chairman, having considered the statutory criteria, I move that we direct the Corporation's Counsel Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance request presented in variance petition number V 2021
-006.
006. Thank you, because and said findings to specifically incorporate the staff report and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decision and final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Puller, second by Mr. Smith. Mr. Puller,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
I am a yes. That motion also carries 4-0. Thank you, everyone, for the evidence and your time tonight. You will be able to proceed. We'll take final action in the next meeting, but I think you can continue moving forward.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask one point of clarification, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The motion for evidence into the record, I assume, was for both requests?
Correct.
Yes.
And then you made
For the docket.
it was passed to conditionally approve request 1 and 2, and then again on the motion for findings, that again was for both requests?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to get the minutes right. Thank you.
Yep. No, thank you. There's no new business. Any new business from the floor? Seeing none. Ed, any announcements from you?
No, not at this time.
Sergey?
I do actually have an announcement. You will receive, as well as all the other boards and commissions, a letter from the mayor's office regarding the possibility of meeting in person for next meeting and meetings after that. The mayor will continue to monitor the numbers, and that may be adjusted going forward, either going back to totally virtual meetings or going back to in person. But there are some limitations as of now. That's why there's a choice for commission to make. Only the commissioners will be able to meet in person, but will be required to wear masks and will be required to social distance. The public at the time, at least for the month of April, will not be allowed and will continue to be virtually present, as well as the staff, which would include pretty much everybody but the clerk's office, because clerk's office does not represent this commission. It will be me, Stevie, Ed, Dale, and Gabe and Sonia will be virtual. So that might be adjusted depending on the numbers in April for the month of May and going forward, etc. So what I would suggest that perhaps commission will, I'm sorry, the board, you guys are not the commission, you're a board. The board will talk among themselves and decide if that's the option they would like to pursue. But again, that is an option for the board members only to meet at council chambers at the City of Greenwood main building for in-person meetings. But again, everybody else, including the staff and the audience, will have to participate virtually. You don't have to take that option, but that's just an option, and more clarification will be given tomorrow from the mayor's office.
Okay, appreciate that. I guess I'll start with my comments are, if it's just the board members, I'm not sure it gains us much, and it also requires us to wear a mask, which when we're doing virtual is going to make it even more difficult, I think, for communication for those that are on Zoom. So it would be my opinion that until we're able to have a more fully represented population for the meeting, that we continue to all be remote.
Mr. President, one more clarification. It's the public, the staff, and the petitioners will have to be present virtually.
Right,
So,
correct.
Right.
It would just be the board members.
Correct.
Ken, I agree. I agree with you.
Okay. Mr. Foster, Mr. Smith, any different thoughts?
No, I agree with you as well.
Okay.
Same.
Well,
Yeah, I'm not sure it adds much value.
okay. Well, we appreciate that, Sergey. Then we'll take it under advisement when we get the letter, and as of after hearing that from the board tonight, assume that we will continue to stay virtual until we can get everybody in the room, so, or at least the majority of the people in the room, right? So
Can I ask Sergey a question? Since we do not have a plan commission meeting this evening, is that the same rules that would be for the plan commission?
Correct. That letter will go to all boards and commissions. Currently, only the council utilizes that system. And that option is given to the rest of the board and commissions of the city. But again, that may be adjusted. Mayor is closely monitoring the numbers. As you know, the governor gave the option to individual municipalities and units to impose their own rules. And so the mayor, as far as I know, and again, there might be something different in the letter, is in looking entirely on the numbers. If the numbers will go down, that decision might be adjusted. If the numbers will go up, that decision might be adjusted as well.
And Mr. Poehler, we do have a fairly busy agenda at that meeting. So when we send that one out, based on the language in the mayor's letter, we'll advise all the other board members who aren't present here in this conversation,
right,
as to what their options are.
Yeah, I'm like Ken. If especially if you've got a lot of things on the agenda, and everybody else is going to be virtual, and then we have to wear masks, it just makes it more cumbersome, I think. But we can address that as we get closer.
think it would be different for the council. I can see where the council would want to get together, where they're having more interaction, more one-on-one conversations together, where this board is more about the public input. So.
Right. And if anybody didn't see it, Stevie sent the revised ballot out. So thank you, Stevie.
Good. Thank you, Steve.
All right.
Okay. Dale, any other announcements from you?
Ed, you can confirm, but I believe there's no business for our second meeting this month.
Correct. All it
Okay,
has
makes
would be
sense.
the findings for this petition here.
Then I would move that we move delaying the findings, if I recall from past, does not impact the petitioners, right, from doing what they need to do. So we can.
It does
move that
not.
to
Your
the next meeting.
decision is effective as of this meeting.
Okay.
Then I would ask that we move that to the next actual meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. If nothing else, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
we are adjourned for April 12th, 2021.
Thank you.
And
you all.
just to clarify for
Yeah.
anybody that's on Plan Commission, we do not have that second meeting tonight. So IT, we can shut down the Zoom for the evening.
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you.
you.